Hey, how are you? Welcome to another episode of, oh my God, I forgot the name of my podcast. The Art of Being You. Oh, The Art of Being You. What is that really about? Huh? What is that really about? As I sit here and pretend to smoke my candy cigarettes. It's about being real. It's not about being perfect. And in this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about my addiction, the many that I've had in my life. And I'm going to talk about pattern interrupt. I'm going to talk about what the ecstatic freedom it brings when you can fully be who you are, unapologetically, audaciously, boldly, and not giving any FUCKSs. So my first battle was with alcohol. That one recently has blown up in my face because what I realized was that I got sober, hired a personal trainer. All the friends that I had vanished, right? And I decided to move home. I decided to move 3,000 miles back home, leaving a city that I adored, leaving behind all of the things. I got home and I immediately went to work, uh, cultivating my relationship with my parents, my sister, and my nephews. Moved into a small apartment, started working, loving it, loving it. And then I met somebody and I got married, we had a business together, we had a beautiful life. Built a cabin, off-grid cabin out in the woods. It was perfect, except I still felt dishonest. I still felt I was having this experience in my body all the time, and I wasn't understanding what it was about. And it wasn't until my divorce that I realized that I'd been living a double life. I've been living this life that my ego wants me to live, doing all the good girl things, saying all the things, of hiding my rage and hiding my true emotions because that triggered certain people into their own spirals. And then all of our communication just broke down, right? So what I realized was that I never took the steps to heal. I had just ended a 25-year relationship with alcohol. Cold turkey. Cut it out completely. Moved on with my life, said, this is just who I am now. I'm not a drinker, whatever. But I never dealt with why I was drinking. I never actually took the steps to heal myself. And I'm still in that process because it just hit me like just a few days ago, like derailed me in bed all day in my bathrobe, wondering, poor me, poor me. And then I was like, wait a minute, no, what is actually happening here? All of the rage, all of the reasons why I started drinking in the first place, they all came bubbling up to the surface, and I just let them. Robbins, I just let them. I let them come up. I let them run through my body. I let them do whatever they needed to do, and I just sat and witnessed them. I sat and observed them through the eyes of love, and that helps to start the process of true healing. When you can look at the deepest, darkest, ugliest, messiest parts of yourself and still see love, still see your true essence. It doesn't matter what addiction you might have. I'm currently holding a candy cigarette in my mouth because I'm breaking the cycle of smoking cigarettes. And it's a pattern interrupt, and it might come off as silly, might be, a little too audacious, too bold, or silly. But I tell you something, it's opened me up in a way that I never would have imagined. Because now I've got nothing to hide. And shame loves to hide. Shame loves to hide in those crevices, in those nooks and crannies in our bodies, in our brains, in our cells, just waiting for a moment to say, see, should be shame. See? And so what it takes to fully be your real self is love. You have to love yourself so much and love all of those demons that come along with it. In spirituality circles and healing circles, we all talk about, love, light, peace, and understanding and all that. And yeah, that's great and fine. However, your true self has been buried under beliefs and conditionings and patterns that are completely unconscious to us. And once we realize why we're doing something, it doesn't have any power on us. And when we start to speak it out loud, it loses its power. You know why I started smoking? I started smoking when I was 30 fucking years old. Can you believe it? Who does that? I did, because I just moved to a new city, and the girls I was working with all went out on smoke breaks throughout the day, and I felt left out. And so I used to go out with them. And then I felt even more left out because I wasn't smoking. I was the odd man out. So I borrowed one here and there. And then I started buying them. It's been another 25 years for me to really come out and say, hey, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? With no judgment. Well, let me take that back. There was quite a bit of judgment. There's been a lot of judgment around this. My mother smoked her whole life. My grandparents smoked. Growing up, smoking is what you did, right? My mother smoked when she was pregnant with all of us. No blame, just facts here. And I think it's fascinating when you stop feeling shame or understand what shame feels like and that it is not who you really are. You start to discover the ways and the places that you have been holding shame. So here I am, enjoying my candy cigarette. They actually taste like shit. So if you buy some to start to quit to smoke, don't eat them. Just pretend, right? It's all make believe. We get to make believe. This circles back to my theme for 2025, the year of make believe. And can we, a deeper question for all of us, is can we hold the parts of ourselves that we are deeply ashamed about and understand that we are still loved, we are still whole, we are still enough, we are still worthy, we are still abundant, even when we have things that we'd really rather not do. And as I sit here and talk with you now, I experience this sensation in my body, this joy, this ecstatic, this freedom, this peace, this calm that only comes from being real. Perfection doesn't exist. You know that. Perfection is an illusion. Everything's perfect. It's usually when we get called home. So living this life, we get to experience all of it. We get to experience the lightness and the darkness and the heaviness and the sadness and the joy and the ecstatic freedom and the bondage and the suffering and the lack and the scarcity and all of those things. If you're listening to this episode right now, and if you have something to hide, I'm telling you right now, you don't have to hide it. I'm giving you full permission to walk out of that closet, walk out of that box, and open your arms and say, here I am, warts and all. And I'd be interested to hear how that shifts for you. I'd be interested to hear how you see yourself, what you think of yourself. What do you think of you? Think you're a bad person because you smoke cigarettes? You think you're a horrible person because you drink alcohol? You think you're a horrible person because you're not perfect? I don't see a horrible person. I see a soul in a body wanting to experience life. So what if these addictions that we have so heavily relied on other people to fix, what if we actually sat with them in the dark with a box of tissues and said, okay, show me what the hell's going on? And eventually what's going to happen are those parts of you that needed to hide, that needed to express themselves and couldn't, turned to something that would never let them down. They turned to alcohol or drugs or gambling or sex or shopping or cigarettes. Whatever it is, I'm here to tell you that you are absolutely beautiful, that you have such a light inside of you. It's undeniable, absolutely undeniable. Where your demons hide, you can bring them out into the light. They don't have power over us anymore. And then you're basically free to be wherever you want to be. Unapologetic, audacious, bold, silly, crazy, whatever you want to be. We get this one life. Let's stop feeling bad about the choices that we've made. Let's stop feeling less than. Let's stop feeling unworthy because we chose something that, I don't know, that helped us feel better for a while. My cigarettes were like my best friend. They were always there. Always there. And when they weren't, I could go find another one. The funny thing about that group of women that I was talking about earlier, I don't even know where they are today. And they have no idea. It's not their fault because I don't blame them. It was something inside of me that needed to be liked, needed to prove her worth. Women do this. I know men do this too, but women really have, I'm a woman, so it's easy for me to talk about this with women. We try to be so much to everybody around us that we forget that we're in need of love and care as well. So if you're feeling guilty, feeling shame, it's okay. It's okay. Because those parts of us are welcome at the table. It's when they're not welcome that it starts to take hold on us in a really seriously unhealthy way. I have a relative who ended up getting cancer and she'd never smoked a day in her life. That's crazy, right? I know people My mother smoked every day of her life from age 16 on. She didn't die of lung cancer. She died because of the thoughts she kept thinking about herself and all of the self-betrayal that she would commit and all of the ways she would belittle herself in her own mind. And if I can prevent one person from that fate, if I can hold one person in the light and alchemize all of their fear, all of their pain into something amazing and incredible and beautiful and bold and abundant and loving and worthy, because those are our true natures. That's our true nature. Abundance and love and worthiness, not scarcity and lack. I'm going to end this here today. I hope this helped you. I hope that you pass this on to someone who might need to hear it, who might be struggling, who might be beating themselves up on a moment to moment daily basis. It's time to be real, not perfect. I hope you have a magical day or have a shitty day, whatever day you want. It's yours. Go live it.